For a missionary who has been abroad for many years, they're often asked, when are you coming back home? Maybe for a visit or to stay for a long term. And the question really is, where is home? Where is home for a missionary? Because a lot of people might say, or you might have heard the phrase, it's not where you're at. It's not where you're at, it's where you're from. Or some people might even switch it around. It's not where you're from, it's where you're at. So there's different ways of looking at it, but in particular in the mission context, this is a very interesting question, and it has different levels. It really does. Because there comes a point, when you're starting out on the mission field, you really start there, you're going to a foreign land. Many things are different. You don't understand a lot. You could even have some language challenges depending on either your preparation or just what the foreign land language is. It could be your own native language, who knows? But let's assume that it's in your non-native tongue. You encounter that on the first basis. Communication is very important, but there's also cultural differences that you have to adjust and shift with as you're moving and trying to integrate yourself into this new land in order to reach people with the gospel. So again, there's a learning stage, but there comes a point in time either way in all these situations where once you start to get comfortable, once you start to get in the flow of things, once things start to really start to flourish for you and you adapt more to the situation, that's when your home feels less like where you came from, and where you are starts to feel more like home. And again, it's not like this in every situation. I know there are some missionaries that I've talked to and known who have never really felt at home in their mission field or wherever the country or city that they're in where they're trying to serve. They never really feel at home. They always recognize, I'm here for a purpose, I'm doing this, but this isn't necessarily my home. I'm here with the purpose and the mission and I'm focused. But then you have other people like me who are on the very opposite side of the spectrum, where I have done my best, and I still do my best, to try to throw myself completely into that culture. And I think that's something that has helped me also in the mission field and in just connecting with people. I've been in Uruguay for 8 years. I spent 8 years there full time living there. And again, that became my home because I did everything there. I lived there, worked there, spoke the language. I spoke more their language more so than I did my native language. I was thinking, living, existing in that culture. The way I started to move and the way that I did things was no longer how I did them in the US, where I'm from originally, but they transformed into my life into the Uruguay way of living. And even people back home recognize that, whenever I would go back for a visit, it would take some time to adjust to really, get out of that mindset, we'll say, of Uruguay, which I was living, and kind of come back into the US mindset. But that's the thing, I felt more connected to where I was in the mission field, and that felt more like home for me. Because that's, again, the life I was living. I was living the life, and I did it purposefully because I believe that's important in many things. However, there's another dynamic that comes with that, because you are living this life, you're integrating, you're connecting with the people. They include you, they treat you in a sense like one of their own. And that's a great thing. That's a great level that a lot of missionaries want to get to. You want to be treated like another person, where they don't really see you as a foreigner, but they see you as one of their own. And a lot of people have said to me that, Carver, you're the most Uruguayan American or North American that we've ever encountered. And that's a good thing, because it's like they're not treating you differently because you're from the land, but they're including you in the lifestyle and everything they do. And that's really the point that you want to get to as a missionary. Even just as a person going somewhere else, you want to be able to connect with the people in a special way. However, as high of a level as you can get in connection and feeling home, there's still, in most cases, always a point where you feel at home. You recognize this is where you are. This is the life that you're living. However, at the same time, there may be certain things that make you to realize that you are still a person who's not from there. It could be certain cultural differences or cultural barriers that are just hard to get over. It could be certain life situations to where, depending on who you have there, you could recognize that, I'm here, I'm connected with these people, but I'm still alone in a sense. I still don't have, deep roots in a sense. And for me, that was something that happened a lot. And we can say, especially in times of COVID, and quarantine, things like that, where a lot of people, even if they couldn't connect with a lot of people, their friends and things like that, co-workers, they still have their family, and things like that. You recognize that, where's home really for you? Like when it came to those kind of times, I just had me. It was just me, because I was a single man at that time. And you realize that, okay, I'm here, I'm living this life, but my roots are not as deep. They don't go as deep into the ground as some of these other people do who have lived their whole lives here. They have family, friends, for generations. Those kind of things happen. But it's not the only situation, but that's one example that kind of makes you realize that although you're home, there's still a certain level of disconnect from that kind of home as well. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic to maneuver, because you're, in a sense, more closely tied to this place, but on the other sense, there are still certain things that make you to realize that you're not quite like a native person in that sense. And on some level, you don't always want that same level of connection, while other times you might want the same level of connection as well. It's a very interesting topic to analyze. And again, I'm trying to explain it and talk about it in a fairly brief manner. But again, we kind of have to realize this, where is home? It's kind of an interesting question, because for a while, I probably would have said it was in Uruguay. It was in Montevideo, Uruguay, because that was my home, honestly. And what I felt less connected to, in a sense, was the life that was going on back in the US. I'd come back and things would feel strange in that sense. And that's kind of the rotation. So again, as I'm transitioning now into a different time of my life, going into a new home, trying to plant our roots in Spain, I know we'll encounter similar things where we can connect on some level with certain people. We might even feel very welcome at first, but there could be, and there could come a time where it's like, okay, we're integrating more and we have these things, but something just isn't allowing us to feel completely at home. It's not to say that we can't be comfortable and that we can't live pleasant lives. That's very possible, and that's the planned expectation. But when living abroad, there's always that question. There's always the level of connection and some level of disconnect also. And I think it happens wherever you go. Many people might even experience it in their hometowns, where they might feel, I don't belong here completely. I need to do something else, or I need to connect with a certain group or things like that. But again, it's an interesting topic, interesting thing to think about. But I just want to share a little bit about that with you all, especially as we're transitioning, as we're preparing to go to this new place. So again, stay in tune for the journey. Follow, subscribe, like the video, all that. Leave a comment if you want, if you have any more questions just about what's going on, or any other questions concerning this particular video about what home is for Missionary. So again, we'll continue to share more, and stay tuned for the future. Follow the links also that are in the description, and support as you want to, and we'll check you on the next time.